Well, I guess I should have built this one first before the ice chest cooler and the swamp cooler to keep me cool to build the ice chest cooler and the swamp cooler. But oh well. This is how I did it. Of course, I still had a lot of supplies left over, and I went back on the internet, got on YouTube, and checked out Desert Sun Zero's 2 version of the Radiator fan AC unit. And his instructions were pretty easy. And Fix-It Samo had a version too. He even did some testing on his. So, let's do this. Alright, here's the fan that we'll be operating on here. Just one of those cheap Lascos from Walmart. Of course, I got this copper coil at the hardware store. It's just 1/4 inch. And, you know, it was kind of hot outside, so I took everything indoors and started to unravel the coil. And while I unraveled it, I just used these tie wraps to hold it in place. And I just kept on doing, you know, just one circle after another, after another, after another. It's kind of tedious, but just bear with it. Little by little, it starts to look like something. Done here, but I need to go ahead and take it to the garage, and I used an old file saw blade to cut it. But the next thing was cutting off all these tag ends on the tie wraps, and that's what it looks like when it was done. So it's time to put it back onto the fan. But we need to test it out, especially all that weight up front. Is it going to hold up while that fan oscillates back and forth? And lucky for me, it does. So I got this rubber surgical tubing at Lowe's, and I think it's 1/4 inch, or on the inside. I had some plastic stuff, but the inside diameter was just too big. Of course, I use these little bitty hose clamps to clamp it onto the copper coil. Now it's starting to look like a mess down there, but I have a fix which I'll show you later. And time to get out my pump. It's just a fountain pump I find in the garden center, mainly for those fountains, garden fountains. And then I'm just using another 5-gallon bucket. And I throw everything inside. And I got my water. dumped the water in there. Threw some frozen bottles of water and connected it all up. Now I got some little small bungees to put on the back. That kind of helped secure it so it wouldn't wobble so bad, because it did wobble. Next thing I did was take one of those insulated inner linings for a 5-gallon bucket and throw that in place. Now I use those tie wraps, and I tie wrap all the tubing together. And then the lid for that insulator liner, I also had to cut a notch. That way the tubing would have a place to come out. As you can see here. Had to do the same thing with the lid. There. Almost done. So I took another block of ice, and some more water, and it's time to get cold water going through those coils and see if we can get a pretty good heat transfer. That's pretty much the setup there. I don't know whether you can tell, but condensation is starting to build up, which is a good thing. Because it shows there's an actual heat transfer. In fact, a lot of condensation started to build up. Here's a closer picture of the condensate on the coils. It was dripping on the ground, as you can see here. I think it's test time again, so hang in there for the testing. So let's test this fan out. With the fan turned off, the air around the fan in front of it was on about 80.4 degrees. And I turned it on, and then little by little, after about 10 minutes, we got down to about 69.8 degrees. But we had this pesky condensation problem still. If you could fix that or figure out a way to recycle that, then you might be able to save yourself a lot more money compared to buying one of these things at Lowe's. After all, it's pretty expensive.